In a small bowl, mix together salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. Set this aside. The best way to woo your family to eat more fresh produce is by giving it fun flair. Alternating slices of zucchini, yellow squash, and tomatoes are layered with fresh basil leaves. Of course, the fresher the squash and tomatoes, the better the taste. But adding a scattering of tongue-tantalizing spices elevates the savoriness of this dish, then topped with seasonings and Parmesan cheese. The melted cheese makes this Parmesan, tomato, and zucchini bake even more irresistible. Your summer side dish is done when the squash is soft and the cheese is melted and lightly browned. Serve warm.
Place carrots in a large skillet and add just enough water to cover them. Season with salt and bring the water to a boil over high heat. Place the carrots in a baking dish. Season with salt, pepper, and thyme. Drizzle with olive oil and toss to coat. Roast the carrots at 400 degrees. Heat olive oil in a large skillet over medium-high heat. Add asparagus, bell pepper strips, and onion. Sauté for 5 to 10 minutes or until the vegetables begin to soften. Add spinach and cook for 3 to 4 minutes or until the spinach wilts. Add pesto to the mixture and stir until the vegetables are coated. Transfer the vegetable mixture to a large bowl and set aside to cool. Set a second puff pastry onto a cutting board and cut it into 3 rectangles. Cut 1 rectangle with small cookie cutters to make decorative puff pastry pieces to place on top of the Wellington. Use a brush to coat the bottom and sides of a loaf pan with olive oil. Set 1 sheet of puff pastry in the prepared loaf pan. In a small bowl, whisk an egg and set aside. Allow the excess parchment and pastry to hang over the sides. Brush the puff pastry with a beaten egg. Lay the remaining puff pastry rectangles onto the short side of the pan. Use a fork to prick only the bottom of the puff pastry. Pour 1/3 of the vegetable mixture inside the pastry mold. Arrange the carrot pieces end-to-end lengthwise on the vegetable mixture. Spread the remaining vegetables evenly, then cover with crumbled goat cheese. Fold the short edges of the puff pastry over the vegetable mixture. Press to seal the edges and brush with more egg. Use the puff pastry cutouts to decorate the top of the Wellington. Brush with more egg and refrigerate the Wellington for 30 minutes. Bake at 425 degrees for 15 minutes.